Module 3 of the Topographical Skills Assessment will test your ability to select a medium distance route between two locations. As in Module 1, this includes using the index and looking up page numbers and looking up grid references. For Module 3, you'll be planning a medium distance route of up to 15 miles. You'll use the index to find the start location and the end location and then identify these on the pages of the map. You'll have to list every single road you take in the correct order, using left, right and forward to indicate the direction travelled. Any exits on roundabouts also have to be listed. This module will assess your ability to plan and write a route between the two locations and answer questions relating to that route. These additional questions will be based on postcodes, area names and stations. Module 3 example question. Planning and writing a route between Limehouse Rail and DLR and Whittington Hospital. Step 1. Turn to the index to find our starting point, Limehouse Rail and DLR. In this example, our starting point is a train station, so this will be listed in the train station section of the index, listed on page 431. Once we have these details, write down the page number and the grid square reference. So, page 92 and the grid square reference of 44AC. Step 2. Identify the end location of Whittington Hospital. As this is a hospital, it will be listed in the hospital section of the index on page 426. Once we have found Whittington Hospital, write down the page number and the grid square reference, so page 70 and the grid square reference of 33LB. We now then turn to the inside cover. This page is useful as it shows us the exact page numbers we need to travel along our route and what direction we need to head in. We locate the boxes with the matching page numbers of our starting and end locations. So pages 92 and 70. We can see here we will need to travel in a north-west direction from our starting point to our end point. Bearing in mind you will not be able to travel diagonally. So you'll first need to travel to page 91. Once you have reached 91, you will then need to travel up to 71, and from there travel west to page 70. As you can see, we have mapped out the general route. So now we can turn to the page of the map that contains Limehouse Rail, our starting point. So once again, that's page 92 and the grid square reference of 44AC. We start our journeys by writing start at Limehouse, DLR and Rail, and then write forward on Commercial Road. By using the page continuation symbol as we come off the page at the grid square of 44, we can pick up the road at the grid square of 44 on page 91. We can turn to page 91 to continue our route. On page 91, we write forward on Commercial Road. Left on Whitechapel High Street. Forward on Whitechapel High Street. Right on Commercial Street. Forward on Commercial Street. Forward on Great East Street. Left on Old Street. And then forward on Old Street. Now we have come to a roundabout. We have to write roundabout exit 3. And then forward onto City Road. This takes us to the border of page 71, grid square RB. Now let's continue our journey on page 71 and look for the grid square of RB. At this point we're on City Road. but we must avoid driving down the one-way road system on City Road. We do this by writing left on Wakeley Street, forward on Wakeley Street, right Goswell Road, forward Goswell Road, right Islington High Street, forward Islington High Street, left Liverpool Road, forward Liverpool Road, left Holloway Road, forward Holloway Road, right St John's Way, forward St John's Way, left Archway Road, forward Archway Road, left Tollhouse Way, forward Tollhouse Way, right Highgate Hill, forward Highgate Hill, and then finish at Whittington Hospital. After planning and writing down the route, we now answer questions about postcodes and areas, and stations. The first question is, what two postcodes do you drive through along your route that aren't your starting or end postcodes? These postcodes can be identified by the blue bold font they are written in. They will always be either in the same grid square or the next one along from the roads you have travelled on. In this example, E1 would be an acceptable postcode. The next question is to list areas you drive through along your route. These areas can be identified by the black bold font they are written in and by the fact they aren't written directly on roads, but have their own space. And these areas will always be in the same grid square or the next one along from the roads you have travelled on. In this example, you can see Stepney and Shadwell. The final question for Module 3 covers what stations are closest to your starting point and your end point. If you now turn to page 92 and locate the closest station to Limehouse, that would actually be West Ferry DLR. If we now turn to page 70 and locate the closest station to Whittington Hospital, that would be Archway Station. Remember, start in the correct location, follow the route logically in the atlas, do not skip any road or street names, and finish in the correct location. Now that you have learnt Module 3, it is time to move on to Module 4.